Right. Good evening, guys. I hope you can all hear me and you can all see my screen. Right. So in the afternoon, we actually analyzed two pairs, specifically the volatility 10 one, 25 actually, 25 1S, 25S and volatility 50. And we actually did show you some of the things to look out for and also what you need to wait for before you jump into the trade. So some of the confirmations, they haven't happened, especially on the volatility 50. If you look at it, we are still here at this extreme point. Price is still there at the extreme point. So the only thing now that we now want to see in order for us to jump into this trade, we just now want to see some um, proper candlestick confirmations to the upside. Let me just go to the daily. Let me go to the daily, then I come back to the lower time frame. But so far, it's still there on that same zone, which we spoke about in the afternoon. So it's still here. It can just reject and close above and then go up. So we are still on the having the same bias, which is anticipating buys and all that. So if you go to the 4 hour, you realize that we haven't had a shift to the upside. Even 2 hour, we haven't had a shift to the upside. Let me go to 2 hour time frame. I think I showed you also a range also on the 2 hour, which they had to break. They haven't broken it, the upside. So long that hasn't happened, we still wait and see how they are going to behave, especially here on this last point, which is here. So currently, this is it on volatility 50. If they come and close above here, let me just put, if they come and close above here, that can actually be a good entry. But so far, they are just playing around there. Let's see how they are going to continue and all that. So in moments like those, you just need to wait patiently. Even the 15-minute confirmation that I told you in the afternoon to wait for, it didn't happen. So it means there was no entry that you were even supposed to enter there in a moment like that. For example, here I wanted a 15-minute upside shift, of which it didn't happen. That's why I said wait for the price to close above here, which it didn't. Even here, it didn't. Even here, it didn't. Had it done that, it was actually going to even buy nicely, but it didn't do all of that. So now we just now wait and see how it's going to behave. Is it going to come back above our major zone, which is this one? Because if it comes back above our major zone there, they at least will actually be comfortable too. So even looking at the 1 hour, once they close above here, so sometimes I can even have buy limits up there. Buy stops actually, not buy limits. Buy limits there, they will be the opposite. So something like this. So once they close above there, we can potentially have buys. But so far, even selling here, it's also not wise because you're selling at a zone which is a very strong major zone. So unless now, if they fully confirm that they would have broken the zone, that's when you can even sell. That is after the whole daily time frame would have confirmed that they closed below and all that. But if it's still like that, it's not a wise thing for you to be partaking in trades like those. Right. So let's look at other pairs, especially from the daily, to see if ever there's any opportunity that we can actually all look up to. Even the volatility, I like how volatility 25S is coming or is playing out. Because if you look on the 4 hour, we've actually broken a range to the downside. If you look at it nicely, right, this buying range, they actually sort of like closed below. Let me put a line here. Sort of like closed below there. So now, even if let's say one had sold here, but now selling there, it means your stop loss is going to be wider in the sense of above that range like that. So it will be something like this. But if you don't want a wider stop loss like that, it means the next thing that you must wait for is at least a lower time frame pullback that will give you a decent stop loss, a decent stop loss that you can actually utilize. So let me go to 30 minutes. 30 minute, I think there's also a bit of price action that can help us. So here, we have mainly is that major zone that we spoke about in in the afternoon, whereby that would be a very beautiful level to sell from, which is this one. So if it comes there, you can also even take a sell from right up there. Um, So this one might potentially also be broken. There's this supply area which is here. This one might be broken and actually utilized as an adjustment. So they can even do it something like this, wipe it out. Then that would be a good setup if they play out like that. So it's also a matter of patience to patiently wait for them to come back there, especially if you didn't sell from the top there. So it's all a matter of now you waiting. So let's look into other pairs. Let's see if there's anything that is interesting or that can actually be taken advantage of. Right. So volatility 150S. This one we can see that obviously it broke major structure, so potentially it can even come back to that low before it decides maybe to give a major pullback. So far we can even just put a line like that and we'll watch it later on, maybe tomorrow, even day after tomorrow, to see how it will be moving. This one, I gave you the signal already, so this one I don't need to talk about it. If you really took advantage of this one, you definitely made very good profit out of it. This was a very simple and straightforward setup. We gave you the buy around here, and look at where it is now. So this one, it's out of question. Let's see the next pair. Volatility 25. This one has been buying for a long time. It's been buying for a very long time. So potentially we can even start to anticipate a reversal sales. Obviously, here you can see that we broke major structure, which is this that's the major structure there. So one of the levels where you anticipate it to retrace onto, there's this one, there's this one. Those are the two major demands that I'm expecting a pullback on from this pair. So it hasn't given us those selling confirmations as yet. If this daily candle closes above or close above this high here today, it means the confirmation that you will need in order for you to start selling will be the closure below this line that I would have put here. So you can just have a line like that, then observe how price is going to maneuver. Because if you notice here, from this point it kept on respecting these buying ranges. That's a buying range here. That's another buying range here. That was also another buying range. This also is also another buying range. So all of those are buying ranges, and the market was just respecting all of them throughout the entire time. So there, there is nothing so far. I can't really even encourage you to buy, especially now if it's just now buying, targeting no where there's no target to the left and all that. So you can just wait for that daily candle to close, then you'll see how uh, the lower time frame is going to behave up there tomorrow and all that. Then let's look at volatility 75. This one, obviously, it's selling, and I don't think some of the levels there they're not the best levels that I really want people to really start the whole trade from. Like some of these trades are more nicer to join or to be a part of, especially if ever you catch it from where it begins up until where it ends. So let's see if we can come up with something here. We have a selling range there, and we need to go now to lower time frames and see the price action there. Right. So we have 15-minute price action, as you can see, which is quite promising in the sense that here they broke there, they broke there, they came obviously to this extreme point. That was a good sell-off from there. So here they did they touch this? Yeah, they did. This actually looks like a beautiful sell, actually. Broke the right. So looking at the dynamics of candles here, let me actually zoom in properly. We actually have a confirmation for a sell right here on volatility 75. So we can actually sell this thing. We can actually sell volatility 75 um, now, actually. That's a sell there. Your stop loss, you can just put it here. Um, your TP, my TP concerning this trade, I think this, I remember we had with some analysis or setups that we shared with my guys there in the mentorship class, and one of them was the VIX 75 sell. And concerning this one, our major projection was for price to because here, if you look properly, these are all this is still a major downtrend, right? You have this swing low, swing, you have that swing lower high there. Then you also have this swing lower low. Then this one is now a swing lower high. So there are two case scenarios now. Either they're coming to break this, or they'll come and will reject from there, then change character and all that and all that and all that, something like that. So those are two case scenarios that you're looking forward to on volatility 75. So I've marked my range. I think it's a selling range there on the 8 hour. So your TP, you can even put it down here like this, something like this. So I think I hope it's actually clear, the whole setup and everything here. Mm. Right. So this one, the price action is straightforward. Very straightforward price action. Very straightforward price action. Yeah, they didn't break. So them coming back to that level like that, they can actually give us something like this. So there were so many opportunities that you could have even taken advantage of. All these cells on these points and those points. So now we are here on this other point. Right. So concerning this setup, these are setups where you don't necessarily need to go aggressive. Like, sometimes people, when you tell them to sell or buy, sometimes they might even think of going aggressive. Sometimes it's not necessary to do that, especially if ever this is your first trade of the day. Your first trades of the day, they don't really need to be those aggressive trades. You can take a normal risk so that even if you make profit from that, if you're going to take the second trade, you can actually use the profits from that trade that made profit, at least now to increase your risk and all that. Boom, 1,000. Let's see if there's anything there. Boom, 1,000. Looking at just the whole price action and everything. You can literally see that they changed character somewhere around here. So they have all of this can be used as liquidity. These are some of these levels here. They can be used as liquidity to wipe that, then drop. So depending if ever there's any supply area up there. Because if there's no supply area up there, I can see one here. I can also see another one where the market is right now. So those are two levels or two areas of interest where price can actually react from or actually drop from. Was looking at the 8 hour time frame and all that, you will literally see that you definitely have a clear, clean price action to the downside. So where it is, you can wait for, let me just go to a lower time frame and show you what you can wait for. Uh, so here, they can drop from there or even drop from this other level here. So both of those levels, they are valid. Sometimes they like taking out some of these levels, especially if there's a lot of liquidity like that. They can even wipe out that and drop from the next
Eh?
one.
Sasa.
Right. So, looking at the 2 hour time frame, if they close below this level here, this one, you can even start selling like this, like this. They close below this level here that I put here. So you just need to wait for that and see how price is going to behave right there. Right. Let me see if there's another pair that is worth talking about here. Let's go down. Right. This one, is presenting something. Seems like it's presenting something also. Um, all you just need to wait for is a proper shift, especially on those levels that it's at now up there, where you have that major supply zone like this. Yeah. So where they are, the very sensitive zone there. So let me just put a line here. So this one as well, you can also wait for, in this case, the proper level is this one, for you to even start selling properly. Once they close below this level, that's when you can actually take a short position like this. I think it actually has quite a number of confluences beyond just the idea of ranges and all that. There's quite a number of confluences also. So if you look at starting from the daily, if you're going to look at almost most of these things, you can see that okay, here these are that's a swing setup, and we broke major structure here up, and we are still yet to break that one, right? So here coming to the downside, we are coming down to the downside in form of um sort of like a bearish market structure, right? Um, just like this. So I'm still anticipating them to even come lower before they come lower to which level down here. There's this major demand which is here that they can actually come to before they keep going all the way to the upside. Then if you go lower again, um, if you go lower again, even if you are going to apply the idea of what you call this, your channels and all that, you discover that even here, as they were pulling back, obviously as they were coming to the upside here, they were coming obviously in form of bullish market structure and all that, right? So once they come like this, they change character like that, then they come back to that point, then they continue. So that is actually a change of character there. If you look at this internal market structure very well. So this also looks like a beautiful sell. Once price closes below this level here, you can even sell with your stop loss above that point there. So we currently have, I think, three main pairs now that we have talked about that have an opportunity now. Um, so I hope it's clear there. This one I also said once we close below there, of which they might actually tap there before they do a shift. And then VIX 75, I gave you a 15-minute, is it a 15-minute entry? With also a 15-minute stop loss as well, which is not that deep. It's just there. So this one as well is also something that you can actually partake in now. So those are three setups that we can just focus on now and make sure that we harvest the most from them. So this one jump 100 and all that. I'm actually expecting the best from it. I'm actually expecting the best from it. Right. So that's it. Anyone with a question based on what we have spoken about? Anyone with a question? Anyone with a question? This actually looks very, very beautiful. So even if you are going to add a channel there, you're adding a channel, something like this. But on top of your channel, there are so many other things that would have spoken about. The reason why sometimes I don't start with these channels and all that is because that's the last thing that I can look at. If my main primary conferences would have confirmed the entrant, all that, I don't need to, I might not even need to put, I have a question about liquidity sweep. What's your question? What is your question about liquidity sweep? What's your question concerning liquidity sweep? What about it? What about liquidity sweep? So anyone else with a question, you are free to ask it as well. But so far so good. This looks like a beautiful, beautiful setup, beautiful swing setup actually. So sometimes, like not sometimes actually, but even how I even enter some of these positions. Like I have like let's say I have multiple confirmations here already. I know that okay, we are downtrending and all that. We've even done an internal change of character here. So if we've done an internal change of character, it means this leg here is now a strong leg, which mustn't be broken. Okay. So if it's like that, even if I have a level like here, I've marked a level where I said that's a at least a confirmation you can wait for before jumping in. Sometimes now, what I do, if I go to 15 minute and those, I get a shift up there. I can even start selling before even that other confirmation, which some of you might wait for, which is this one. Let me remove this right here on that zone. So yeah, the confirmation here on the 15 minute, it's also still this one. That's a confirmation there. So still, the person would have ended based on that. You are actually running in profit now, and that one waiting for that one. Also, one and the same thing, you also potentially also enter into profits, but it's almost one and the same thing, but just a different perspective of looking at it, where the other entry you're looking for to enter earlier, the other one is looking to enter later, but with a solid confirmation, especially looking at the time frame that we'll be looking at, like the 1 hour there. That's a solid confirmation there that you'll be waiting for. So this one, very beautiful swing trade, very beautiful swing trade. Once price closes below this one, you don't need to wait for anything else. You just need to jump in once the body of the candle closes below there. Um, right, let me see the question here. I have a problem with identifying liquidity sweep in such a setup. Which size oh, your projection on gold to that supply? Yeah, gold actually performed exactly as we had actually spoken about. For those that did see the setup that I sent on gold, it actually performed exactly as we were anticipating. I have a problem with identifying liquidity sweep. It happens so many like the thing is, some of you guys you complicate things that are not complicated. The idea of liquidity sweep, this can be regarded as liquidity sweep, where you have equal highs, then they are wiped. Same thing also here. You have equal highs, then they are wiped. That's liquidity sweep as well. So liquidity sweep, it's not. Like from what I've seen, most of you have been told that if it gets to price gets to a supply or whatever, um, it must collect liquidity. If it has collected liquidity already down here, there is no reason for it to waste time collecting anything else up there. There is no reason to waste time collecting anything else out there. So liquidity sweep, it happens in so many, it can be explained in so many ways. You can't just explain it from one angle or one direction. You can explain it from multiple angles. Multiple angles. I hope you answered. So this is liquidity sweep as well. Someone can put trend line here and say that was trend line liquidity. So many ways you can. Someone can put this. They wiped the collecting liquidity went up. So it can be explained in various ways, various multiple ways. So gold, I did send a setup on gold that day, and I actually gave a buy signal, not only a setup. I gave a buy signal in the signals group around this level here. The reason why I gave a buy signal are the following reasons that I'm going to explain now. So currently, I'm anticipating sales from that supply zone, but obviously upon a shift, obviously, I'll need a proper shift even once they get to that level. But I'm actually anticipating sales from there. So this was my setup. I drew it like this. Then I put this is liquidity sweep for that guy who was asking about the liquidity sweep. That's liquidity sweep there, where you have those equal highs there. They sweep it, then boom. So once we get proper confirmations there for sales, our first major target is this one. Next one, we're now looking at other levels down here, like our significant demands and all that. So here, this is where I gave a buy signal. It was actually was it last week or last week but one? I'm not so sure. If you followed through some of the updates that I was giving concerning the trade. So myself, I think I exited around somewhere here because I was actually in good profit. So I didn't need it to. I saw no reason for me to keep holding, of which I could have held further, but the profits that I was holding were good enough to close even at that level. So right here, that's a buying range, as you can see. That was the first reason why we entered. And I didn't just draw a buying range. So after drawing a buying range like this on the daily, I knew that even if I go lower like this, I'm going to get my buy entry within that buying range. So here, within my buying range, this is my buying range. And I saw price was coming nicely to the bottom side. And I simply marked the one level there and I said, once price closes above that level, we jump in the buys. So here the level that I marked, I think it was let me see properly the level. There is a line that I put where I said once you close above. I don't know, is it this one? Or let me check properly. Was I think between these, I think yeah, I think it was something like this. I think it was something like this. Where I said once it close above there you enter. Yeah, it was that one. So I actually had the setup like that. Then I put a pending order like that. Then I said once it closed above there, and even the time it closed above, I gave the signal, of which we didn't wait for this 1 hour. We even entered based on a 30-minute close. A 30-minute closed earlier there, and even 15 closed earlier. Then we jumped in. After jumping in, obviously it came for a pullback and all that. Still kept on giving those confirmations to the upside. Then boom, 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 kept buying and buying and buying and buying. My TP was up there. up there. If you count the number of pips there, do you know how many pips are these? 1070 pips. 1070 pips. You heard me correct. 1070 pips. So imagine just catching that one move from the 14th of January. That's like 7 days of holding. That's just 7 days of holding. That wasn't even a lot. So that was the first entry there that we caught. TP was up there. This other entry, you could have also caught it the same way. If you mark this level here, if you go to the daily, you realize that that's actually a buying range. It being a buying range, we're going to follow the same process. It was within a buying range. They actually broke outside of a buying range and created another one here, something like this. And after doing that, you would have even caught um, your, even if you went to 8 hour, you can actually see the buying ranges also clearly here. That was a buying range here. Right here, another one there, something like that. So you could have caught the next buys there within that whole next range. So even after they got into that next buying range, by the time they gave this shift, which is somewhere around here, of which if you go to lower time frames, obviously there's a demand there and all that. If you go to 30 minute, I believe you could have even jumped in that buy earlier also. On 30 minute, if you're going to enter on 30 minute, my entry for you was going to be this one. You're going to supposed to enter right there. So that was going to be your entry, stop loss below, first TP, top of the range. Next TP is that major one, which is up there. So that was it for gold. Right now, I'm just waiting for price to tap into our TP area. Then we get those proper candlestick shifts to the downside before we jump into our sells. So that's it for gold. Some of you missed a lot of money there. The money that was going to be your money for the whole of Jan, money that you made in that whole 7 days. That was enough even to cover your whole January. Um, so yeah, that's it. So once you get there and get proper shifts, we jump in. So that's it, guys. I think I'm done for this particular session. Uh, we'll try to we'll see if we can upload them on YouTube or not. I'm still trying to make a decision based on that.